March has definitely brought the madness as we move into the Sweet 16 of the men's NCAA tournament. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Brendan Conroy alongside Carlos Garcia and Juan Mendez. After the first two rounds of action, the tournament has been nothing short of special. We've seen top seeds get knocked off and underdogs rise to the top, leading to 0 perfect brackets remaining. Carlos, I'll start with you. Which was the biggest bracket buster of this past weekend's games?
Yeah, just like Brendan said, there's 0 perfect brackets remaining. And there's been plenty of upsets, but the one that stands out to most of me is Oral Roberts. First, I got to ask this question. I mean, who are these guys, right? Before the tournament, quite frankly, I didn't even know who this team was. They're a small school out of Oklahoma. And, you know, this team, they've just done the incredible. They've upset number 2 Ohio State in overtime. And then they go on to win against number 7 Florida State in the round of 32. And right now, they're steamrolling. I mean, they're running through the opponents, and they've shown that they're a quality team, you know. For being a 15 seed, I mean, it's just incredible what they've been able to do. And they have a tough matchup against Arkansas in the next round. And, you know, like I said, tough matchup, but I'm hopeful and confident in this team because they're just picking up the momentum at the right time.
I could agree with that. Oral Roberts is an amazing team and a great bracket breaker, as you mentioned it. But I have Abilene Christian on this one for a lot of reasons. First, because they defeated Texas, a team that was number 3, and it was 15% of brackets, and in the March Madness game, 15% of people picked them in the Final Four. So just that tells you a lot about how confident they were in this team and their defense. But more than that, what really did it for Abilene Christian was their ability to play zone defense and play to the turnover game. They caused the most turnovers in the entire NCAA, as they forced 23 points off of turnovers on this game and 13 offensive rebounds. That is huge. That's what did it for them, because they don't have a single main scoring player. Just Reggie Miller, their point guard, is the main guy there. But it's a whole team effort, as well as you see it there by the hype man that they have, as he made news. But just an amazing performance by them, but it was not enough to get them to the past round. But it was nonetheless a huge bracket breaker.
Keeping in mind the amount of underdogs advancing in the bracket this past weekend, which teams are on the rise heading into the Sweet 16?
Well, a team like Loyola Chicago, they're a team who's made news in recent years. They're a team that really overexceeds in terms of their playing, and their seeding really doesn't do them justice. We saw what they did in 2018 as an 11 seed to advance all the way to the Final Four. And this year has been nothing short of special. Right now they're an 8 seed, and they won in the first round versus number 9 Georgia Tech. And then they went on to beat number 1 seed Illinois, a battle that seemed like David versus Goliath. But right now this team, definitely a special team. Right now they're big men, they were able to limit the paint opportunities for those Illinois guards. And that's really what led them into getting those 2 victories. And, you know, Sister Jean, she's such an icon, but in her pregame speech to the team, she said that what they needed to do was hold Illinois to under 50% shooting from the field and under 30% from 3. And they did just that, holding Illinois to 45% from the field and 29% three-point percentage. So this team, Loyola Chicago, the Ramblers, they're definitely picking up momentum at a right time, and they're definitely going to be riding the wave into the next couple rounds.
Absolutely. How can you not love this team? It's amazing, everything you see about it. Now, another team that I love, and I caught love for since the first 4 games, it is the UCLA Bruins. They played incredible. They're on a roll completely. They have the most experience of any team right now in the Sweet 16, and they could keep that going, even though it's a tough matchup coming up. They have the best duo, my favorite duo in the entire tournament, which is Johnny Juzang and Jaime Jaquez Jr. Them two, they've been doing amazing. In the first 2 games, Juzang completed 70 points, and Jaquez had 40 points in the first 2 games. Now, they slowed down a little bit this time against Abilene Christian, as I mentioned, with their really tough defense. But this team can ride the wave as well, and they can do some damage in the Sweet 16. They just have to play amazing and play to what their coach says. Mick Cronin has been incredible this entire tournament because he corrects mistakes every single game. He fixes the schemes to make somebody control the ball every time differently. He's doing amazing, and he could really ride the wave again, even though this game against Abilene Christian today slowed them down a little bit.
They say pressure makes diamonds, and there's certainly been some players shining bright during this tournament season. Which players have impressed you the most so far?
In my opinion, right here, Luka Garza, a big man out of Iowa, I think he's going to be the National Player of the Year. And he really showed not only in the regular season where he was just popping off in games, but really in the tournament. You know, we saw in the first round, he scored 24 points and he had 6 boards on 50% shooting, and he even went 4 or 5 from three-point land. So just showing his versatility in the game. We saw him today. They lost to Oregon in a tragic upset, but he had 36 points. So I think a bad way or a sad way to end his season and his career at Iowa, but a great way to improve his draft stock going into the NBA draft in a couple months. So this guy definitely, Luka Garza, not even just impressing me in the tournament, but in the draft going on.
Absolutely. He's an incredible player. Now, my choice for this is Syracuse Orange, and that is Buddy Boeheim, a name that I did not know before this tournament, but he made a name for himself with his first 2 games. He's been playing absolutely out of his mind. He averages 27 points per game, and in the first 2 matchups, he averages 60% from the field and 56% from 3. That already tells you enough, but he's a lethal shooter. When he rotates around the zone, he does not miss. He's not scared of shooting at all. Whenever he picks it up, like you saw in the second half against West Virginia, he shot lights out, and he did absolutely amazing in that matchup. That's why he led this team. Whenever he steps up, that team is going to win. Even though they have a really tough opponent in Houston this time, I have a feeling that he's going to step up once again, whether it's in the second half as well or the whole game. He's going to have another great game, also above his average of 27 points in my opinion. But that's just him, Buddy Boeheim. He's made a name for himself and definitely also raised this draft stock on this one.
Some of the mighty have fallen during the first weekend, including number 1 seeded Illinois, 2 seeded Ohio State, and 3 seeded Texas. With that being said, who looks to be the favorite to hoist the trophy right now?
The number 1 team in the nation, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, I mean, they've been undefeated during the regular season. They've been beating top-ranked opponents by double digits in the regular season, and going into the tournament, just steamrolling opponents. I mean, we saw it in the first round win, and they just beat Oklahoma today in the round of 32. But this team definitely, they're just too much to contain, too many offensive weapons, the offensive firepower, and the defensive side, too, of the ball. They're led by Jalen Suggs, Cody Kispert, and I'm really confident in a coach as Mark Few, who's got all the weapons and the tools to win and hoist another national championship. So this team definitely on a great roll, and they're looking to be the favorites.
Absolutely. Even with Illinois knocked out, they're just the favorites. There's no other team that has the potential that they have. You did mention their big 3, including Timmy, who dropped 30 points today as well in a big double-double. Now, another thing you could point out, that those 3, they're 3 All-Americans. This is something that happens very rarely, but in a team this confident, this good, they're just going to keep rolling like they did against Oklahoma in the second half where they really turned it up. Whoever's on their way, they're going to have a really tough time.
As we enter the Sweet 16, it'll be even tougher for teams to survive and advance. Only time will tell who will be crowned champions in April. That's all we have for this edition of Penn State Sports Night. For Carlos Garcia and Juan Mendez, I'm Brendan Conroy. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you for watching this edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also, follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.